Call to order. Let's stand and do the pledge. Everyone have their cell phones. Please put them in silent. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Marianne, you want to do the roll? Here.
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 Here. With a quorum being present, the first order of business is to hold a public hearing to receive public comments on the proposal to sell bonds in the amount of $2 million for the purpose of conforming its existing facilities that house students to the building codes promulgated by the State Board of Education of the State of Illinois by altering, restructuring, and repairing said facilities and having equipment purchased and installed therein. The life safety bonds, and bonds in the amount of $3 million for the purpose of increasing the working cash fund of the district, the working cash fund bonds. All persons desiring to be heard will have an opportunity to present written or oral testimony with respect thereto. Discussion is now open. Dr. Skinkus, would you want to explain the reasons for the proposed issuance?
Present here tonight is Elizabeth Hennessy from Raymond James. I've asked Liz to put up a shortened presentation tonight for the board since we've met a couple times on this now, and then Marianne will also have it on the overhead so the public can see that on TV. More or less, we did receive notification from the state. I don't have the exact number in front of me. It's about $50,000 less than $2 million. So when the board would have formally approved this at the end of October, if they should choose, it will be just under $2 million. Does everybody have one? We have one for Laura.
Laura's got one. Kristen and Scott.
Right. Okay. So we did receive approval. I think it's for like $1,923,000, and then there was the $86,000 that we had approved and our amendment prior to for the granite panels. So we are just under $2 million for the life safety bonds. We have one life safety bond that was rejected for pavers, and I'm wondering if the state consultant won a life safety amendment, and that was about $16,000, and that was for pavers. I'm wondering if he thought it was paving. Scott was going to check with Carrie today to see.
Yes, I checked with Carrie. She thinks that the state interpreted it as a paving project, which therefore would have to have a public hearing, where really this is picking up the pavers on the north end of the building and leveling them out and putting them back down.
So Carrie's going to try to talk to the state and see if there's any change, and if not, we'll see if we do conduct a hearing, if we're able to bond that out before the October, or if we can issue them at a later date. The other small changes, the other denials were like on three small items, all were with under $10,000. And Carrie was going to call the state approver down at the State Board of Education to get some clarification on both the bleachers. One was the pool bleachers, and just saying that these were grandfathered in if we wanted to keep them. However, we continue to be cited on them every year when we do our bleacher inspection. So I think this may need to be just a new purchase out of our capital account. And then the other one was with fire prevention and some of the stuff that the architects were requiring under the life safety. The notation that was on the sheet from the state said that it was more than what was required by the administrative code. So Carrie was going to check on that as well. Liz, you want to put up your presentation? Marianne, if you could put up Liz's presentation and just summarize.
Thank you. So this is a brief presentation that basically takes the two options that we've been talking about the last couple meetings and reviewing the two structures that we've been considering, the 7-year payback versus a 10-year payback. I took the liberty of updating the interest rates on these bonds, and the good news is the savings is a bit higher than we had originally projected. So Sorry, Marion.
What's the best page to look at, so we go
Yeah, let's
with you?
go to page 5. And this just kind of sets out where we are tonight in this public hearing and what the path forward is. So tonight, you're having the public hearing on not to exceed 2 million of life safety bonds and 3 million of taxable working cash bonds. As Dr. Skinkis mentioned, the State Board of Education approved in total about 1,945,000 of those bonds. So tomorrow, we will present to Standard & Poor's to redo the bond rating, which has to be done each time you sell bonds to the public. And then at its October 24th Committee of the Whole, Board of Education, the district, the board will consider the bond resolutions to approve the refunding, the life safety, and the taxable working cash. So what I updated here is option A. If we go to the next page, this is the life safety and taxable working cash paid back over 7 years. Very similar to the option we were looking at before. We've got some updated interest rates, so savings is a bit higher. And in this option, you have lower interest costs because you're paying the bonds back over 7 years versus option B, which we'll see in a minute, which is over 10 years. But the tax impact that we've been looking at on a $300,000 home, net of the savings from the refunding, is about $60 for the first 7 years. Then it's a reduction of $33 for the next 3 years. Then, of course, in 2026, the district is debt-free. Both the referendum bonds are repaid at that time as well, which will result in about a 55-cent decrease or $507 on that $350,000 home. So that's option A, the 7-year payback. And if we go to the next page, we see a graphic of that. The gray bars are the savings. The light blue bars are the 2 million life safety bonds, now downsized to 1,945,000, and the orange bars are the 3 million taxable working cash bonds. If we go to the next page, option B is the same thing, except we're repaying the life safety and working cash over 10 years. So in this case, we've got a little additional interest cost over the life of the bonds, going 10 years versus 7 years. That's just under $270,000 of interest, additional interest over the life of the bonds. However, in this case, we have the net impact to the homeowner at $36 for all 10 years. So you can see it's just a little smoother for the taxpayer, but, and in this option as well, the new money bonds are paid off concurrently with the refunding bonds, resulting in a $577 decrease in 2026. So if we go to the next page, that's the graph, and then page 10 puts these options side by side so you can do a little compare and contrast. And I just bring this up because the district has been, kind of narrowing it down, going from probably 8 or 9 options to these 2. We're hoping to bring that resolution back to you on the 24th. And if there's a possibility to get direction tonight on the 7-year versus 10-year, that would be ideal. So I just open it up to questions.
Thank you for doing the side-by-side. I think that on page 13 of Liz's presentation, and it's board book page 13 as well. I'm sorry, 13 on board book and 10 on Liz's presentation, but I think it shows you everything you've asked for over the last couple of meetings. So more or less, the interest cost is roughly $250,000 savings.
270.
270?
Just under 270, yes.
Compared to what?
7 years to 10 years.
Yeah.
Interest cost of the new money bonds would be $487 to $757. 7-year payoff means we're paying off just under $5 million or $500,000 in interest on a 7-year payout, and just about $750 for a 10-year payout. Tax taxpayer would experience over if we chose 7 years, an additional $326 spread out over 7 years. And the taxpayer, if it's spread out over 10 years, would see $358. Correct?
Correct.
Did I explain that right?
You did. Thank you.